Oh, now that really was bang on 10 o'clock. Pride myself on that sometimes. Good evening, everybody. It is 10 o'clock in the UK anyway. It's Wednesday night. That means it's time for the Act on This TV book club. We're going to give people a few minutes to join. Tony Rossi, boom, straight in from Chicago. Where are you, Tony? It's Chicago, isn't it? We're straight in from America anyway. Fanny's here. I've just missed 4 other people joined dead quick. Don't know who those names were. Welcome. Just had a little look on the Act on This Twitter feed. Evening says the hipster, alright hipster, seeing what's going on in the world. For those who are northern actors, I've just put a post up, you might see it there, upcoming event, the October Manchester meetup. Come and join us if you're available on Saturday the 1st of October. Yep, in Chicago, good memory, bud. Well, it's not really good memory, Tony. You've been coming on the scopes for about 5 years, and I still only had an inkling of, I think it's there, because you move all over, you're constantly travelling and stuff. But yeah, for those who haven't got a clue who I am, by the way, my name's Ross. I'm an actor from Manchester in the UK. Lucy, good evening. Scope twice a week, once on a Monday, once on a Wednesday. Tonight is book club. Monday is something called motivation and mind hacks that we do, which is exactly that. Things that are going to hack your motivation, your productivity. Just saw Rob here. Anna's just joined. Good evening, Lucy. Yeah, things that are going to hack your mind, help you get your mindset to a place that's going to help you be more productive, more motivated, more emotionally kind of in control. Have your emotions serve you, not you serve them, and ultimately have more success. Good evening, Anna. Tonight is book club. We look at one book a month. This is the 3rd week, actually. It's probably going to be maybe 4 or 5 weeks we'll end up spending on this until the end of September is out. But the September book, I think we did 1 week in August on this, is Preston Smiles' new book called Love Louder, 33 Ways to Amplify Your Life. Don't be put off by the fact it's called Love Louder. It's not all about love. Well, it is to a certain extent, but it's about how you can kind of love. It sounds so corny, doesn't it? But love yourself, love other people around you, love the position you're in, love the environment you're in, love where you are at in life in general to help you embrace that and get further faster. Good evening, Nina. Tonight we're looking at 2 chapters that, whether you're an actor or not, I think these 2 are two of the most important in the book. One of these I reckon I've got the hang of, and I have had for a while. The second one I still haven't, even though I know this is something in my life which is a recurring theme that crops up time and time again, and I should have mastered by now, but I find it very, very difficult, and you'll find out what that is in a minute. A couple of other things to mention, a bit of housekeeping just while we let people join. Good evening, May, good to see you here. This is particularly for those in the Act on This community, so the website that I run, you can find it at actonthis.tv. If you're an actor and you've not joined yet, please come and join. It's completely free. There's a premium side of it, but the majority of the stuff on there is free, and there is literally thousands of acting articles, hundreds of hours worth of acting interviews, podcasts, videos from some of the greatest minds in the business. And I've just confirmed the 4th guest for Act on This TV, which is like a broadcast quality TV style interview show that I do on Act on This, and it's definitely going to be with one of the biggest executive producers in the country, a guy called Tom Sherry from Red Production Company. They produce some of the best TV we have in the UK. For those who have been watching ITV tonight, you may have seen the trailers for ITV's upcoming drama Paranoid. Tom produced that. Hannah, good evening. He also produced Scott and Bailey, Prey. Red also made things like Last Time in Halifax, Happy Valley. I have just downloaded Twitter app, about to start going through the list. Says who is that? Is that you, Anna? Excellent work though. Yeah, I did an article on Act on This with all the people you need to follow in the acting industry. So good on you for taking action. Good evening, Warren. But yeah, Tom has just confirmed tonight that he's going to be up for an interview on the 21st of this month. So that's 2 weeks tonight. And I'm going to be interviewing him at Media City UK. It's going to be recorded, but I want questions from you guys that you would want to ask Tom. So Tom's an executive producer. He employs the casting directors. So a lot of actors see casting directors as the gatekeepers, and they are to a certain extent, but Tom is next level. Tom is like one above them. He's the guy who actually calls the shots when it comes to who he casts in the shows. The casting directors direct the casting and put them in front of Tom. Tom chooses the people. Never forget that. The casting directors don't choose the roles. They have an influence sometimes, but ultimately the decisions are made by the director and the executive producers. Occasionally the channels will get involved as well. So Tom's going to be on, so it might, you might have different questions for Tom than the usual casting directors and agents that I have on the show. And he's super honest, proper nice guy. I'm gonna have a lot of fun because I know I can ask really like blunt questions and get really honest answers. Good evening, Patrick, as well. So that's happening. Yeah, I've mentioned the acts on this meetup, which is on the 1st of October. If you're in Manchester, that's at Home Theatre. We're doing that. I think that was all I had to say tonight before we begin. But yeah, get your thinking cap on for questions for Tom. It's going to be an absolutely awesome interview. Oh, Anna's mentioning Surviving Actors. So Surviving Actors is an event we have here in Manchester as well, an acting industry event. I think it's on Saturday the 22nd. Is it the 22nd? Would it be the 22nd? That'd be the 8th, 15th. Yeah, Saturday the 22nd of October in Manchester. And there's a lot of people from the Acts on This community. I know Fanny's going, Anna's going, Lee's going. Lots of people in the community are going. Come and join us. We'll have a little unofficial meetup. Ross B666 is here. All right, Ross, how are we doing? Good to see you. So yeah, come and join that. So tonight, guys, we're looking at 2 chapters of this book. So whether you're on this scope and you're an actor or not, this is just life stuff. Okay, this is stuff that's going to apply to you, whatever career you have, wherever you're at in your life, and it's really going to help you have more success if you can implement it. Like I say, this first one we're going to look at, I reckon I've got down. The second point I'm going to look at, I haven't got down. I still struggle with it. And this is from Preston Smiles' new book. Preston used to be an actor, now he's a bit of a motivational speaker, inspiration guy, works a lot with charity, he's a bit of a thought leader. And basically travels the world inspiring people to be their best versions of themselves. Works a lot with a charity called Pencils for Promise, where they build schools in developing countries and stuff. All round top geezer. But this is his new book. If you watch on the replay, you'll be able to click on the link below this video and go and buy his book from Amazon. So this first chapter, guys, this is called Give Up to Go Up, okay? And this is the power of sacrifice. So before we even start, who thinks there's things in their lives that aren't really serving them at the moment positively that they could sacrifice or should sacrifice if they really want to be more productive, more motivated, you know, more in control of their lives? Do you have little vices that you know you should stop, but you're like, actually, you know, I'm kind of struggling with it? Buying coffee, says Anna. I could never stop doing that, Anna. Nearly everything I do, says Fanny. Brilliant. So Fanny needs to give up everything that she does. Excellent. And Anna needs to give up coffee. Well, let's have a look at this chapter then and see if you really do. So Preston says, elevation requires separation. Okay, and at the heart of loving louder is sacrifice. Okay, it requires letting go of unhealthy habits, shedding certain relationships, because a habit can be, you can get addicted to a relationship that you know is not good for you, and sacrificing small thinking and excuses. Don't just think of bad habits, guys, as things, as actions that you do. The worst habits that I see in human beings are bad habits of thoughts, feelings and emotions. Cycles of negative thoughts, feelings and emotions. A habit is really another word for a pattern. Look at the patterns in your mind. Daily thoughts. Is there a recurring theme, a place you always go to where you slide to the negative every single day? Because that's a bad habit as well. A habit that's bad isn't just drinking and smoking and partying and all that kind of stuff. Hey, Zobia, how are we? Good evening. So he says, it's been said that if you want something you've never had, you've got to do something you've never done. Give me some hearts if you like that. If you want something you've never had, you've got to do something you've never done. Hearts are flooding through. And he says, on August the 18th, 2012, I finally began to truly embody what that means. After years, I relate this. This is me. This isn't actually me, this is Preston, but I relate to this so much. After years of hangovers and blurry nights, I made the decision to sacrifice drinking alcohol until further notice. I've done this myself. The decision was based on giving up my short-term perceived pleasure for my long-term happiness and well-being. I looked at how I felt when I was drinking and concluded that it wasn't having any positive effect on me. Therefore, it had to go. I got tired of talking about living my best and then doing things that I knew weren't in alignment with that. And a lot of people do this. They talk the talk about how they're doing all this cool stuff and how, oh, look how inspirational I am, I do this and I do that. And then behind closed doors, they're just like doing all the things that they're telling other people not to do. So he says, Aristotle has said, we are what we repeatedly do. Excellence then is not an act, but a habit. So would you agree with that? We are absolutely what we do consistently on a regular basis. I've said this before, if I got a room of people and said, everybody stand up if you work out 3 times a week or more, I guarantee everyone who stands up in that room, pretty much, I would be able to tell that they did work out 3 times a week or more, because they will be in good shape. They are what they consistently do. Equally, if I said to a room full of people, stand up if you have takeout 3 times a week or more, they stand up, I will be able to tell through their body shape they have takeout 3 times a week or more, because they are what they consistently do as well. So many people have grand dreams but aren't willing to sacrifice what it takes to achieve them. They have poor habits, and those habits keep them stuck. We can't create more love in our lives until we have the courage to sacrifice those habits that aren't serving us. Most of the habits that keep us from loving louder are done without the conscious awareness that they're being done. So you might not even know. I'm going to list a few things here that you're doing stuff that isn't serving you. So Preston says, for years I watched TV shows that centered on crime and violence, never making the correlation between watching the shows and fearing that something bad was going to happen to me or someone I loved. It wasn't until I sacrificed the habit of negative TV that I understood that it was one of the main things stopping me from seeing love everywhere I went. On Bulletproof Actor, in the confidence program that I run twice a year, one of the things I get people literally to sign a declaration for. Here's an example of one of the declarations I get everyone who comes on the program to sign. One of the points on there is to sign to a 30-day news blackout. Because statistically, Time magazine found this out in like the 1980s, statistically negative news sells massively because we all have a built-in need to know what could hurt us. So we crave to know all the bad stuff. Now, on average, because of that, there are 19 negative news articles published for every 1 positive one. So if you are waking up in the morning and you are going to your phone and you're going, right, okay, I'm going to have a look at Sky News. I don't normally do this, but let's do this now as an example. Tony says, thank you, the news is such a source of negativity. Tony, I just don't really have anything to do with it at all. I'm just going to read you as an example right now, live, what's going to come up on a Sky News feed here. So here we go. Sports Direct investors vote against chairman. Well, we all know what's the scandal around Sports Direct in the UK and what's going on there. Air China under fire for racist London article. May, no running commentary on Brexit talks, so more scare about Brexit. Brexit to cause 15 years of economic pain. Jewellery worth $3 million stolen from Drake's tour bus. British florist picture used in ISIS magazine, Islamic State. UK's 13-foot Calais wall, poor use of taxpayer cash. Terror probe into Paris car gas tanks. Newborn baby punched in face, man held. Honey trap Playboy model goes on the run. Survivors tell of refugee rescue tragedy. There's nothing positive there. I think I'm just looking to see. I've got one thing that's positive for me, which I love. iPhone 7. An iPhone 7 news release from Apple today. But did you hear all that negativity? So if you're getting up first thing in the morning and one of your habits or one of your patterns, Fanny says, I've no idea what any of that news is about. I maintain ignorance. A lot of news you need to know is really that you and your family are safe, and that's about it. But if you're getting up and just seeing, you're being hammered with 17 negative things, one after the other, bang, 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 you're setting yourself up for the shittest state ever to be in for that day, and you're going to be on a downer from the minute you wake. And so many people sleep, and I've done this, with their phone under their pillow, and the first thing they do when they wake up is reach for their phone. I did it for a couple of years when I got a smartphone. Didn't realise anything was going wrong or anything was wrong about that until I actually was made aware of it and went, oh my God, this really, really makes sense. Why fill your mind with noise that you can't do anything about? Very true, Fanny. A lot of the stuff is, is kind of stuff that, we can't control that much. So Preston said for years he was watching negative TV. Maybe you're doing that at the moment. We all have something or someone we know isn't serving our highest growth or good. Tony says, I had to start making it a rule not to check email or internet first hour of waking up. That's another thing as well, because people will start dictating your day if you just check your email first thing in the morning. They'll start prioritising your day for you, Tony. So everyone's got something or someone in their lives that they know isn't serving them. Whether it's a friend who's constantly negative, whether it's gossiping and complaining about life, or a social media app that you find yourself checking every 5 minutes, if it isn't serving you, it has to go. Loving Louder is about reevaluating what's important, eliminating those things that are in the way, and replacing them with new, healthy habits. So he says sacrifice will look different for each one of us. Only you know what you need to give up to go up. Some have to give up aspects of their personal lives, others need to let go of certain hobbies. The circumstances will be different from person to person. But the principle of sacrifice remains. Are you willing to miss the concert to work on your dreams? Are you willing to sign off social media to ensure that you accomplish your vision? Sacrifice may not always be easy, but it is sometimes necessary for us to get to that next level. And I just saw Patrick say, but isn't this common sense? Absolutely common sense, but how many people follow through on common sense? Common sense, Patrick, from what I see, and I get riled about this because I see loads of people going, oh, I don't need any of this because that's just common sense. Common sense is not common practice. I don't see it hardly in anybody, even though we all know what we should be doing. So few people do it. The old adage, do what you have always done and you will always have. Yeah, so do what you always have done and you'll have what you've always had. Do what everyone else is doing as well, and you'll only have what everybody else has as well. So if people aren't at that, ultimately, if you're not at that next level, or you're not touching it, or you're not close to it, chances are you are wasting time on things that are not serving you. Whether you dress that up as practicality to go, oh well, yeah, I need to kind of chill out in an evening, so I will watch 3 hours of Stranger Things on Netflix. You're kidding yourself. Watch 1 hour of Stranger Things on Netflix if you want. Use the other 2 hours to do something good. But if you're not where you are at in your life, take responsibility for it. Take accountability for it. Because it's you who has put you where you are at. Don't give me any victim shit. We've all got problems. You and your choices on how you've reacted to certain situations. So every single choice you've ever made in your life has brought you to the point you are at right now. Anna says, definition of insanity, doing the same thing again and expecting a different result. That's very true as well. Einstein said that. A lot of people do that. They send the same, in the acting industry, they send the same headshot, the same covering letter, the same show reel out time after time after time, and then say, and don't get any replies. Why are you still sending the same stuff out time and time again if you're not getting any replies? That is insane. You need to absolutely change it up if you expect to get a different result. So the challenge at the end of this chapter, Preston says, make a list of everything you know that isn't serving you. No matter how crazy it may sound, even if it's a family member, a job, or a favourite pastime, write it down. Then circle the 3 that you least want to give up. Okay? Now choose one of those 3 and create a strategy for removing that or them from your life for now. Okay, so don't just go ditching close family members, I wouldn't suggest, but choose the 3 that you really don't want to give up, and then work out a strategy to give up that if it's not serving you. So if you don't want to give up coffee, Anna, because that's your thing, but only if you feel it's not serving you. I feel coffee serves me, kind of makes me quite creative and energetic, but if it's not serving you, look at a way. Look at what you need to do to give it up. But yeah, it is something that we all know we should be doing, but like I say, common sense is very rarely common practice in people. Otherwise people wouldn't stay stuck. The amount of people who say to me they feel like they're treading water, they feel they're going over old ground, they're not getting anywhere. What are you changing up? It does, but not 10 a day. Oh right, okay, I have 1 a day, I have 1 coffee a day, Anna. 10 a day I would suggest is probably a bit of a caffeine hit. So that's the first one, guys. You've got to give up to go up, okay? And that could be something that you really enjoy doing, but you don't, you know, you're like, actually, my money would be better spent on this for the next 3 months than this. If you go to the cinema twice a week, or for pizza once a week, or to the football once a week, and you're actually, you know what, I don't have enough money to pay for my show reel. Well, if you're spending 30 quid on a night out with a pizza at Pizza Express and a couple of, you know, a bottle of wine, get one from Sainsbury's that's going to cost you a tenner, and save that extra 20 quid for a month and spend that on a show reel scene or whatever it is. So true. I saved a ton by eating clean and not drinking recently. Tony, I can't tell you how much money I have saved over the years drinking. Honestly, I would go out on a night out on a Friday or a Saturday consistently every week. I did it for 10 years. And it started off, maybe I'd spend £40 a night, something like that. By the end of it, like I'm going back to like 2010, probably about 2009 was when I started drinking, when I started doing marathons. I would spend £120 on a night out 4 times a month. £480. You know, it's like £6,000 a year I was spending on alcohol. And this phrase actually came out of my mouth on multiple occasions. I don't know how people can enjoy themselves on a night out if they're not drinking. Honestly, I said that many times. Now the thought of that, it just like, I just couldn't do it. Alcohol, it doesn't impress me anymore. People say that to me all the time, says Fanny. Honestly, I used to be that person. Anna says she's a total liability when she's drunk. I was never that. I was always the person who looked after everybody. I'd just get very happy when I was drunk, you know. But then the next day I'd feel like shit. I'd stay in bed for half the day. I might get up, eat, and go back to bed. I wasn't productive. You know, now on a Sunday, I'll go out and I will have done my run before I would have been getting in from a night out most Sundays, which is crazy. So that's the first one, give up to go up. Think of some things that you want to give up. I'm going to ask you at the end. The next one, this is something that I've said on multiple scopes, I struggle with and I still do, and this is just saying no. Okay, 5 months teetotal, Anna is. Good on you, Anna. Just because you're not busy doesn't mean you're available. Okay, this is so key. Your actions speak a lot louder than your words, and they show what you truly are committed to. If you're doing things you don't want to do out of a feeling of obligation, then saying yes to someone actually means you're saying no to yourself. We've said this multiple times, but because it's in the book, I want to hammer it home again because I still struggle with it, even though it's me telling everybody about this. Learning to own your no is about setting healthy boundaries, committing to your needs and desires, and owning your life. Okay, learning to say no was one of the most challenging and most rewarding things I've ever taken on, says Preston. Deep in my subconscious, I had a story that I had to say yes to everything that was offered to me, that saying no was somehow rude and selfish. How many people have you heard say things to you like, oh, but you have to say, in the acting industry, you've got to say yes to everything. You can't turn down any opportunity because you don't know where it will lead you to. You know what, if you're savvy, you can predict where it's going to lead you to, and 9 times out of 10 you're going to be right. There will be the exception that time where you're like, shit, and I've done that, I should have said yes to that, but I didn't. But it was a curveball that was thrown that you would have had no way of ever knowing it was going to go like that. So many times I've said yes to doing things, and afterwards I thought, God, why did I do that? Whether it's been short films, it's been show reel scenes for people, you know, it's just being there. And I'm like, and sometimes I'm not even there because I'm not even present because I'm thinking of the thing that I should have said yes to, that I've got to do when I get home, because I'm like, oh, now I'm going to be out of time, but I couldn't say no because I'm a good person. I always say yes to everybody. It's bullshit. Own your no, okay? So Preston says, I was saying yes to the good and okay things so much that when the great things came along, I didn't have the energy or time for them because I was overbooked. That was until I learned the power of saying no for the sake of my greater commitments. When I got that, I didn't need a reason other than self-care and personal sanity. My life changed drastically. Who's been in a situation where you've been asked to a party or a wedding or something on a weekend where you know you should be doing work or something, and you've had to try and come up with some really incredible excuse for why you couldn't go to that wedding, and you're thinking, oh my God, what can I say? What can I say? I've got to come up with something. Not realising that actually, you know what? You can say no because you don't have to give an excuse. You can say no because you just don't want to go. That in itself is good enough. You don't have to come up with something spectacular about how you've double booked this, that, the other, this has come up, you're ill, your friend's done this. Fanny says she doesn't get asked to weddings. Amazing. But stuff like that will come up. It's come up for me before, and I've been thinking, oh God, how can I let this person down gently? Because I feel obliged. I'm like, actually, you know what? I'm not responsible for their happiness. I'm not responsible. If I'm not there on that day, why should that detract massively from what they are doing? So it says when Preston got there, he didn't need a reason other than self-care and personal sanity to say no. His life changed drastically. I went on a journey to discover my burning yes, as Stephen Covey calls it, committing myself to prioritising those first in my life. Nina says, very liberating being able to say no. It is, Nina. Once I got clear on my priorities, I began to say no to everything that didn't bring me closer to my commitments. So it's about deciding what matters the most and having the audacity from a place of love to unapologetically say no. The first step is owning your no. The first step in owning your no is getting clear on your yes. So exploring what you stand for, what burns deep in your gut, and who you choose to be on a daily basis will serve as your internal compass as you navigate the world. Even though it may seem tough to say no, remember that every time you say yes to someone or something that you don't truly want to do, you say no to yourself and your priorities. Last, and this was a hard one for me to initially implement, it's okay to say no even if you've already said yes. Okay, you can always renegotiate your agreements with integrity while finding solutions that work for everyone. Take this book, for example. Preston says, I agreed to have it in on a certain date, but as I dove deeper into the process, I realised that I was going to need to renegotiate that date. That is what I need to work on, says Tony. Saying no once you've said yeah. Absolutely, I think we all do. So once Preston had dove deeper into the process, he realised he was going to need to renegotiate the date of the book. After a few emails and phone calls, my editor and I came to a date that felt doable for all parties involved. And you'll only end up with bitterness if you agree to something out of obligation or fear, he says. It's much more powerful to make a decision that feels right in your heart than to follow through with the decision just because you think you should. So we're going to go through a very quick exercise now that might get you a bit clearer on how you're going to deal with this in the future. So 3 big questions, guys, for finding your yes. 1, what most excites you about life? Let me ask you that now. What most excites you about life? In general, what are the things that you go, yes? Like, for me, is creating. And that can be anything. It doesn't have to be my acting career. It could be an article, a video, an audio thing, event. It's creating something out of nothing that I love. The unknown future, says Nina. Acting and creating, says Fanny. For me it is. It's creating through connection with other people. So it's creating something that I know is going to impact somebody else. That for me is like a burning desire. Stories, says May. Stories is a big passion of hers. Give me some other examples. So when you ask yourself that, what excites you most about life? Preston says, for me, it would be empowering people to live authentically. I love helping others become the best version of themselves, says Tony. Tony does that really well on Facebook. Make sure you're friends with Tony Rossi. Watch his Facebook Live videos, they're great. Also being around people like you guys who want the same. Mutual that, Tony, absolutely. So Preston, it would be empowering people to live authentically. He loves surfing. He loves kissing his wife. His wife's very good looking. Acting, helping others, says Anna. Seeing my kids, says Anna as well. Your kids are bound to be a big part of your life, Anna. 2, what's the one project? What is one project, person, or activity that you wish you had more time for? Warren is just joined again. So answer that for me. What's the one project, one person, or activity that you wish you had more time for? Fanny says myself. Sometimes I feel like that. Sometimes I feel as myself sometimes as well. I feel like I just need to eject for a little bit in order to kind of catch up and focus on some things. Anna says myself. Maybe that's a bit of a common recurring theme. I want more time for auditioning and acting, says Tony. Awesome. Absolutely, that's a conflict for a lot of actors. definitely. And then number 3, so that's the second question. Taking my mum hat off, says Anna. So the third question is, you fill in the blank. When I'm something, I feel alive and on purpose. Oh, you're on my TV. I've been here all along, says Warren. He just said you joined again, Warren. Must be Chromecasting or Apple AirPlaying to Warren's TV. All right, Warren. Yeah, so fill in the blank for me there. When I'm I feel alive and on purpose. Let me know. Acting, says Fanny. I think a lot of actors are on this scope, so it's probably going to be acting for a lot of people. For me, it's just creating again. Simple as that. It doesn't have to be acting. It can be anything, literally anything. Acting, says Nina. I love presenting as well. I mean, this is presenting, isn't it? I guess I love presenting as well as acting. Performing, so just in general, performing for Warren. Creating for May. So I think everybody on here is probably, a creator as opposed to a consumer. 2 types of people in the world: consumers and creators. Consumers are the people watching the Netflix. Creators are the people creating what's going on Netflix. Dancing, says Fanny. I would love to do presenting, says Anna. Anna, nothing's stopping you. You've got a phone right now, you're watching Periscope on. We'll all follow you. Go live. Present a Periscope to us. Do it. So they're the 3 questions. So the 3 questions were, what most excites you about life? What's the one project, person or activity you wish you had more time for? And when you're doing something, that makes you feel alive and on purpose, what is that? Answer these 3 questions and immediately begin to say no to everything that doesn't align with your answers. Being on set is better than sex and drugs and rock and roll, says Nina. Absolutely. If you could intertwine all 4 of those things, Nina, you might have found your perfect calling. But yeah, so anything now, from now on, that is not in alignment with what you... Dana says, on set, yes, all parts. Excellent. So anything that isn't in alignment to those things that make you feel alive, that make you feel that you have a purpose, that, the thing that you wish you had more time for, and the thing that excites you most about life, start saying no to everything else that doesn't align with those things. Unless it's something like, your parents ring you and say, look, I need a trip to hospital. You go, sorry, doesn't really align. Obviously say yes to things like that. And we say no to everything else, okay? So Preston says, you could say something like, he talks about, the key is to be loving in the way that you say no, okay? And you don't have to defend your decision. So he says, you could say something like, this doesn't feel right for me at this moment, which is perfectly valid. It's a totally valid reason. Or you could decline while reaffirming your commitment. This is what loads of people that I know, mentors of mine, super successful people, do. And when people have done this to me, I've never felt bad. I've never felt resentment from it at all. I've just felt respect and gone, fair play to you, mate. He says, you could decline while reaffirming your commitment, which is a powerful stance with no wiggle room. So all you would say is, thank you for thinking of me, but because I'm committed to whatever that is, I'll have to decline. And he says, don't fret, as you practice saying no, it will get easier, and you may even begin to like it. Like Nina said, it is liberating. I remember the first time I started saying no, I'd been a yes man. I read that book, The Yes Man, and everyone was going, oh, you should be like the yes man. You just say yes to everything, you'll go on an adventure around the world and it'll all be brilliant. Nah, it's bullshit. All you'll do is stress out and just have real kind of anxiety over deadlines. That's what I found, because what will happen when people come to you normally? Why are they saying it in that voice, Ross? Well, no, I don't know why they were saying it in that voice. That was me. What you'll find is people come to you when they need help, guys, a lot of the time, and they come to you when the thing that they needed doing is now urgent. It used to be important, but they left it so long that it became urgent, and then they thrust it upon you because they're like, shit, I've realised I've got a day to do this and I need help. I'm not capable. I need to draft in some more help. So they raise your cortisol levels, your stress hormones, by forcing this thing onto you, going, oh my god, if I don't do this, I'm going to get sacked. Can you help me? And of course, we as nice people go, oh well, I'll have to help them. What you'll find you're doing is this is your work, and you just push it to the side, put it down, and you start on somebody else's. And what they should do is you need to say no, because those people need to learn but they need to start doing their important things whilst they're important. Don't leave them till they are urgent, because it just becomes stressful. So if you say no, they're going to learn a lesson, and you end up saying yes to yourself. You can carry on with your work. Keep that, at the forefront of what you're doing. You make progress, and when you make progress, you feel happy. Ultimately, we are most happy and fulfilled when we feel we are making progress on the things that we want, no matter how small that may be. Trust me, when you notice the next time you feel happy, I promise you, it'll be because something in your life has just happened where you feel you're making progress in one area of it. It's binary. Dana says so true. You're either going backwards or you're going forwards. You can never stand still when it comes to success. It is absolutely binary. It's on or it's off, 0 or a 1. You are either growing or you are dying, nothing in between. And if you say yes to everything, you can guarantee you're just going to be dying. If you say no to everything that doesn't align with those questions, ultimately you will have more success, because you're going to make more progress and you're going to feel way more alive. And like I say all the time, every part of your life affects every part of your life. When you feel good, you're going to show up in the world differently. People are going to react to you differently. You're going to come across more opportunity. You're going to see things through a nicer filter, a more positive filter. And you're going to get further faster. So they are the 2 chapters of this book we're looking at this week. So yeah, give up to go up. What are you going to give up? Let me know. And maybe the thing for you is just giving up, saying yes. Maybe these 2 things just intertwine, and that's the thing for you. But let me know what you're going to give up in order to go up, and confirm to me that you're going to start saying no more in your life with love. You don't have to disappoint people and be harsh. People will respect you. You know what? When I started saying no as well, people started respecting me so much more. They used to take it for granted that I would say yes. So they would never appreciate the work I was doing for them. They would just go, oh, it's all right, Ross will do that. That's fine. And muggins here, might as well just tattooed mug across my head, would always drop what I was doing to help someone else out. And then I would wonder why at the end of the day I still had a to-do list like this, because I'd been ticking off things on everyone else's list bar my own. The minute I started saying no, people not only started asking me more politely, but they started offering me money, offering me skill swaps, offering me opportunities in exchange for things, which they never did before, because they were just like, oh, he'll just do it anyway. I was a people pleaser. Quit being a people pleaser. It will serve you no good at all. So that's it for this week. Is this why you haven't replied on Messenger? Who are you talking to, Anna? Me? Have you messaged me? Oh, it'll be. Oh, I did see something. Is it about your show reel? I will watch that. Like I say, I always have a 7-day reply window to any messages I get. If I don't reply straight away to people, don't think I'm ignoring you. Particularly if you take part in the scope and you're a big part of the community. I just get inundated literally with Twitter direct messages, emails, Facebook message. I've had to stop. I've had to start saying ignore to friend requests on Facebook from actors in the community, not because I don't like everybody, but because every 2 minutes I was saying bing, bing, bing. I love helping people, but I find collaboratively we can help people better within the group, within the Facebook group, rather than direct message me sometimes. It's better to post it out there in the group, and you're gonna be able to harness the minds of 2,500 actors, not just one. Actually, I've got a lot of experience, but nowhere near as much as our combined experience of 2,500 actors. Remember the scopes we've done on mastermind groups. They're so powerful. That's what we've got in the Facebook group. Same, I use Facebook Messenger for work. I have 40 messages this morning. Yeah, it's overwhelming, Tony. And sometimes, yeah, I mean, that in itself, you end up having to say no to. So I just stopped accepting friend requests from people who I didn't know, ultimately. I knew they were in the community, but I didn't really know them. I like to get to know people through the Facebook group, that way, and then we can all help each other out. And when you ask a question in public, I promise you, out of those 2,500 people, there might be another 25 people wanting to know the answer to that question you've just asked. So they will benefit from it as well. So put it out there in the group sometimes, and you'll benefit from that, which is cool. I tell friends I will always reply, just not right away. Absolutely. I want to be your Facebook friend, Ross, damn you. I'm scared to post it. Don't be scared, Anna. Being selective is also setting your limitations. Yep. Where have the morning gym trip Facebook vids gone? I didn't want to inundate people, so I used to do a Facebook live video on the way to the gym about 6:45. every morning in the summer because it's beautiful and the sun was rising and stuff. It's a bit darker when I go to the gym now, but I will do the odd one, set people up for the day if I've got any news to tell people, or anything to report. But I didn't want it to become the Ross show on the Facebook group, because it's not. It really isn't about me, honestly. Like, none of this is this thing is about me. It's about the group and collaboration, and I'm just the bridge, I would like to think, kind of between people. I think that's what I kind of do quite well. I just put people in touch with other people, and that's the whole point behind everything that I do, behind Act on This and the Facebook group. It's about making actors. The motto for Act on This is making actors take action. Okay, so the only way you do that is by putting yourself out there, and connecting with other people. So I hope that served you well tonight, guys. I appreciate you so much for joining me. If you want to get Preston's book, then click on the link below if you're watching on the replay. It'll take you through to amazon.co.uk if you're in the UK, and you can buy it from there. You get it from amazon.com wherever you are in the world. Really well, says Anna. Thanks for joining us, Anna. But yeah, I know you've bought the book, Tony. What do you think of it, mate? What do you think of it so far? I think it's a really easy read, super easy read, and like Patrick said before, a lot of it is common sense, but it's just stuff that we need constant reminders of. Because I do particularly. I'm really academic, but I don't have a lot of common sense. I love science and figures and academia, but when it comes to common sense, sometimes I'm like, ugh, someone will say something to me and I'm like, oh my god, that's so simple, why did I even think of that? I just sometimes don't see it. I love it, says Tony. It's helping me be more grateful and happy. Yeah, two massive, well, completely interlinked, gratitude and happiness, Tony, definitely. Great scope, says Nina. Cheers. Thanks for showing up again, Nina. Nina's been on these scopes since the very beginning, I think. Were you on scope number 1, Nina? This is scope number 124, guys. Cheers, Dana. Great to see you here. Thanks for joining us. Make sure you tune in next week. And for those who are new to the scope as well, make sure you check out my podcast that I put out every Friday on iTunes. Fanny says Love Louder is available free on PDF. Fanny's always getting these books for free on PDF. She's like a proper little detective if she finds them. Well, yeah, post it, Anna, Fanny. Tell me where they are. Cheers, Warren. Thank you. It's good. It's resourcefulness. She's a book ninja. Resourcefulness. Yeah, I do a podcast every Friday on iTunes called 5 to Thrive. It's a mini Periscope episode, just audio. I just recorded this Friday's today. It's going to go live tomorrow night at midnight, I guess, so everyone can get access to it straight away on Friday. And it's I'm really passionate about what I'm talking about this week. I'm not going to tell you what it's on because I want you to find out for yourself. But search for Act on This TV, all one word, in the iTunes store. Subscribe for free, and you get a free episode every Friday delivered to your device, completely free of charge. Just started listening, says Tony. They're great. Cheers, Tony. Yeah, 5 to Thrive it's called. It was supposed to be 5 minutes. They're not. They're all 10 and 12 minutes, but they're just kind of shortened versions of these. But they're quite concise, different theme every week, generally on something that I've discovered myself, or something that's worked for me, or something that I've kind of been told that week, or I've implemented that's working. And this week was one I feel particularly passionate about, and you'll get your hands on that, or your ears on that, on Friday. The day where you can go and pre-order your iPhone 7, which I'll be doing because I'm a total geek. Fantastic. Right, guys, well, have a fantastic rest of your night wherever you are in the States. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon, your evening. I'm going to bed, and I might do a Facebook Live video on the way to the gym tomorrow, about 7 a.m. So if you're not part of the group, come and join. Facebook.com/groups/Act on This TV. Until next time, it'll be Monday, next scope, motivation and mind hacks. Don't know what we're going to do, but you're going to want to be there. Thanks, guys. Appreciate you. Bye for now.